Oh, 16, sorry. A bit of sea salt. The stator was very hard to fit into the housing, it didn't want to snap in. Welcome to another episode of the Tool Academy. We're continuing the GISAM series. Today, machine number 3. And it is, wait for it, an angle grinder. I ordered this device in a version without a case, with one battery of hellish value, as you can see. The device itself, the handle, the guard, a charger from a Chinese laptop, and a bit of a wrench. That's all the equipment and some foam inserts. Listen, so that's the whole set when it comes to this grinder. The first most important rule for the GISAM Power Tool series is what you see here, which is the price. That's what we're all about, right? If it didn't cost this much, we wouldn't be talking about it. That's for starters. As for the weight, well, it's light. Light, I must say it's suspiciously light. Even that Chinese Procraft was a bit heavier. And it doesn't feel that great in my hand, although it's not a tragedy. Overall, we have some imitation filters here, which I don't think are removable, but we'll check that later at the service. Standard 2-pin battery terminal. We have some power station here with an interesting button. We'll decipher it in a moment. Lock. Spindle lock, standard in every grinder, aluminum body. And what? And that's generally how it looks. Well, it even snaps in, let's say. It's a shame there's no button here. It would be much more convenient to work. I don't know why these manufacturers put these buttons on top in some machines. Maybe you know, so speak up on this topic. What's next? Very Chinese handle, completely plastic. The disc guard, well, it weighs nothing. It's, I don't know, 1mm sheet metal. I suspect the paint thickness is greater than the metal it's actually made of. The wrench was probably cut from the same metal, the same sheet as the guard. Standard laptop power supply, ultra light, and a battery. A 598 volt farad battery, I think. I don't know. We'll figure it out in a moment. We'll paste information about it. Well, it looks and sounds terrible. Well, listen, this device actually works very quietly. Almost velvety smooth, you might say. If we click this funny button, we have a 4-stage rotational speed adjustment. We also have information here about the battery charge level. I'm very surprised by the operating noise of this device. We'll see about the power, but it works very pleasantly, very quietly, very pleasantly. So, a big plus. For this money, of course. Just as a reminder, it will appear somewhere here. Episode regarding the DeWalt brand grinder, model DCG 405. There we said a few words about the sounds of the device, not even one, but two, because I was surprised how they work. Compared to this, it's like night and day. This one works much, much quieter, smoother. What else can I say? Brushless, meaning it's brushless. We have the information here. Well, here's an interesting little abbreviation. LYT. If we change this X here, instead of this Y, it would be LXT, you know what I mean. And what? It's worth mentioning that these devices work on a Makita battery. Let's check it. Well, we have here, listen, an original battery. Makita brand, 5 ampere. And it works, the manufacturer didn't cheat me. As for the parameters, from the label, we won't read anything, of course, because we don't have any information here. As for the rotational speed, which we will examine in a moment, we will compare it with the speed, which was read somewhere on the internet, so we will verify it. I don't expect miracles here, but we will check it, of course. As for the thread, standard M14 spindle, like in every grinder. And what's more, let's check its RPM, measure its temperature, see what's inside. Let's try to press it gently, whether it's generally only for styrofoam or if it's suitable for anything, so I invite you to the workshop. Listen, as for the GISAM grinder, let's test it. Let's try to cut 2 slices of such a rod. I don't know, it's some, I suspect 12, 14 more or less, but I'll measure it. Oh, 16, sorry. So I found it somewhere. A piece of 16 rod in the scrap. We have a 1mm disc. Well, here I couldn't resist anything else but a Chinese disc, of course. Original battery from this manufacturer. Let's set the maximum speed, cut 2 or 3 slices. It's hard for me to estimate the force here. But as for this stopping force, we have a certain idea for that in future episodes. But at this moment, I'll just cut 2 or 3 slices in a workshop way and see what happens. Later, I'll put on a 4 ampere hour Makita battery and see if there's any difference. Listen, as for an opinion you saw for yourselves, I didn't press it particularly hard. I cut normally just like you cut with any grinder. The RPM dropped a lot, the power practically vanished, so for me, definitely a thumbs down. Let's also put on a grinding disc and try to grind a piece of flat bar. Maximum rotational speed, original battery, fully charged. Makita battery. Listen, well, here I have to say it's a bit better, as it were. Of course, when pressed, it changes the rotational speed to a much lower one, but on this GSAM battery, well, it was harder for me to stop it. I tried at one point to press harder like that, so it worked, but on the Makita battery, generally, this device works worse in my opinion. Maybe because this is already a battery, I don't know. Well, it's original, it's 4 amp hours. It's not new, listen. Well, there's no darn year on it to tell you, but I don't know, it's at least 3 years old for sure. On this original battery, it worked a little bit better. In the case of grinding, it's fine. Well, generally, as you saw, I did some grinding. I was pressing quite hard. It was losing rotational speed, but it didn't stop. Only when I pressed it well did it start to stop. Well, the loss of rotational speed is a very big problem in the case of, for sure, even cutting, because the disc crumbles, a lot of grit, and that's how it looks. But around the house, so to speak, geez, it can be fine. Okay, listen, as far as the little grinder goes, let's measure its RPMs. We have our super sporty disc from the calendar mounted. Let's try to measure the RPMs at first on this larger original battery at all the speeds that the manufacturer suggests here. And then let's try to do it again on this smaller battery and on the 5 amp hour Makita battery. All the batteries are, of course, fully charged just a moment ago. So here we go. Well, interesting, because in the case of the Makita battery, the RPMs were lower than on the original larger one. Well, oh well, apparently they're clashing. Okay, listen, let's try to measure the temperature. Let's see if anything heated up there. You can see for yourselves that it practically hasn't worked, but maybe it'll give us some kind of reference. The channel's history knows cases where grinders didn't work at all, yet they heated up. Cool. Generally, as far as the temperature goes, it's very good. I really have to praise this device once again for its smooth operation. The RPMs, standard. However, it runs very quietly, very pleasantly quietly. Well, that's also certainly related to the rotational speed, that there's a cheat. It was supposed to be 10,000, it's barely 6 and change, but, well, the work is very quiet, pleasant, and generally that's how it looks. Looking at the external build as I'm checking it out, well, listen, there are some things here like a little gap. This rubber coating is very good, it holds up well. I'm curious how this plastic behaves in contact with some aggressive chemicals. It's the little aluminum body and it's painted. I don't know where they got this paint from. Here we have some imperfections after drilling, but it's not a tragedy. Let's see if, for example, a cleaner on a rag will do anything to this housing. Will it somehow, I don't know, become sticky or white? Well, no, listen, it's okay, nothing is dissolving. Let's take a lighter one, maybe. Alright, something is rubbing off there. Maybe a bit more than just something. So, it will probably wear off after some time. But in the case of a Bosch brand device, it doesn't look any better at all, so... Okay, maybe I'm just nitpicking. Okay, let's get into the guts of this device. Let's see how the manufacturer designed it. Let's start with the gearbox first. Well, I'll tell you, damn, it's loaded with grease and quite thick, as you can see. But the most interesting thing is that this grease even stayed on the wheel. I suspect that the rotational speed is too low for it to be thrown off, but, well, it looks how it looks. I don't know if someone just had a can of grease on the table and it tipped over accidentally onto this grinder and it wasn't supposed to be there, or, well, strange thing. But oh well, that's how it looks. Well, the body itself generally looks quite decent, let's say. At the bottom, a plain bearing, a sintered sleeve. And what do we see here inside? Listen, the rotor has a 607 RS class bearing at the back. At the top, we have a bearing, a Z-type, we'll see which one in a moment. As for the construction of this device, slider, linkage. As for the switch, it looks like this. Listen, well, it's single track, but it strikingly resembles a Makita GA5030, but we have a dust cover, so that's a plus here. The motor itself, the electronics are very similar to the other devices. I suspect it's the same thing. Here we have a silicone coating. We have a stator here that isn't equipped with Hall sensors, so classically more of the same. I suspect we'll find copper here too, but let's check. Exactly. The stator is still made of copper. So that's what the whole controller looks like with the stator and terminal. The housing, what can we say about the housing? Well, generally I don't see anything too terrible here. I see that the container must have opened up a bit here. Or it was lying near a vent because some sea salt is left here. Let's look at this upper rotor bearing. Here we also have a 608, just like... No, here it is, sorry. Here's a 607, here's a 608, but here we have a Z bearing. But it's sitting tight in the body. Okay, what do we see underneath? We see a 6201 bearing in RS. So that's cool too, but this bearing... Underneath we see a 6201 bearing in RS, so it's fine. But listen, this bearing is already crunching, so I'll replace it beforehand. As I mentioned, I bought all these devices and I intend to use them, so maybe not me exactly, but I'll throw them in the workshop, let the guys grind away, it'll last as long as it lasts. But we'll put a slightly better Chinese bearing in here and that's it. What more can I say? I'll add some grease, wipe off these remains of whatever you see here. Listen, okay, I'm getting to work on reassembling the machine. Listen, the weight without the battery is 1230. I don't know if it makes sense to put this cover on here. 1344. Well, this is generally made of paper, totally, so yeah, weight with the larger battery, 1767. Weight with the smaller battery, 1.5 kilos. A few words of summary. Well, generally you see the price, but I have some reservations here. It's worse made than the impact wrenches you saw in previous episodes. Well, you saw for yourselves how much grease was in there. I had a bit of trouble putting it back together because the stator was very hard to fit into the housing. It didn't want to pop in, so I played around with it a bit more. Well, damn, it'll do for around the house, yeah. Weak RPM, too low RPM, definitely too low RPM. Those 6,500 RPM for an angle grinder is just not enough. The discs will fall apart. I would generally invest in something a bit better. As for this grinder, it's just so-so. Impact wrenches, definitely yes. But here it's a bit worse. But well, price, you know how it is. Well, that's it for the summary of this wonder. Thank you so much for watching. We have one more GISAM in the program, so I invite you to the next episode. For now, thank you so much for the subs, the huge discussion in the comments. Leave a like, boost the video, and see you in the next one. Bye.